Hello there, and thank you for following along with my classroom stories. I'm Julie Faulkner, and today I'm going to talk about yearbook theme, how to choose a theme, and why it's important. I'm going to give you 5 quick tips. All right, so the first thing when choosing your yearbook theme is to think about the uniqueness of your school. Is there something that makes your school special, the location, the environment, that whatever it is perhaps, or maybe if there's something unique to that year, maybe your school or your community endured some kind of tragedy. Maybe you got a new school building, a new advisor, whatever it is about your school and your year in your community that you can represent with your book. Maybe the year itself, 2020, has a fun twist on it. A lot of people did some sort of take on the eye, the vision, the seeing. That year we did through the eyes of a wildcat. That year our mascot is the wildcat, and so we did it that way, and we did a play on it. I saw lots of other ones that year too. So just think about, what is the uniqueness of your school? Brainstorm, have students make a list, do a poll, whatever you can do to get a lot of ideas and then weed those down. The second thing when you're picking a theme is to make sure that you choose a theme that represents your entire student body. So when you get your yearbook staff together and you're brainstorming these ideas of what your theme is going to be, it's really easy to say, oh yeah, that's a great idea. But if you think about, would this represent and would this include everybody as a whole, or how can we make this include everybody? That's another exercise that you can do to make sure that you're representing your entire student body, and then it isn't just what your staff, especially if your staff isn't very diverse or doesn't have as much diversity in groups and ethnicities and pieces that bring and represent your whole entire school. So if you're unsure about that, again, you can put some theme ideas out there and let the students vote. That's always a fun way to get them involved. Number 3, you want your theme to be simple, but also impactful. It doesn't need to be a very, very long sentence. Okay, that's probably too much, but just a phrase, a couple of words, sometimes just one word. Our theme this past year was just one word. I'm going to show you some examples in just a second, but simple and impactful. Also, for simplicity, I don't usually lean toward more of like a 70s type vibe or like a Disney type vibe. I usually kind of I tend to hesitate when we arrive at different themes like that. When we did the 2020 book, some of the kids suggested like a Gatsby theme to a throwback on the 20s, and while I am totally 100% a Gatsby fan, absolutely, English teacher here, I didn't think that would be the best approach for the yearbook, because I don't know what kind of story, how we could really tell the story of the school with that angle. And some people may have done that and have done it very well. But for me, I tend to think of something that's a little more word driven or concept driven instead of something like that. Number 4, you're going to want to make sure that when you are thinking of your theme in words or your phrase, that you also think of your visual elements as well. So your graphic elements, how can your theme, does your theme lend itself to that? How can your theme be represented with visual elements as well? So think about that too. Examples coming. And then last, a theme should be something for the whole entire book. It's not just a name or a label that you slap on the cover and then you're done. It should be woven throughout the entire book. It should drive your questions, your sidebars, your headlines, your content pages. All of that should be related some way to the theme, telling the whole entire story through that theme of the book. And so one thing that I like to do is when we have a couple themes on the table that we like, or we're landing on, we're trying to make that decision, that we actually sit and brainstorm those out. So I will put big pieces of butcher paper up and put the themes, and we sort of do a gallery walk through, and I say, okay, what are going to be some questions you can ask with that? How would that look on a page? What would you do for a headline for golf if we do this theme? What can be something if we have a special coverage page? What would you do? What are you going to do for your dividers? And how are those going to be cohesive throughout the book in relation to the theme? So that's a really good exercise, because sometimes students get hung up on a theme that they really just love the idea, but then when it comes down to it, and when the rubber meets the road, there's not enough there. It's just sort of empty. Okay, so our 2019 book is this one, Rise Up. We rise by lifting others, and you can see we did the up with the small letters in 3 lines. So, and then we also have the lowercase I, that's also symbolic, and it just gives us a really good, then of course this circle around too, sort of everybody together. And we can use that throughout the book. And then also you can see the triangles that echo the mountain, which we are a mountainous, we're nestled sort of at the foothills of the mountain our school is, and so this is beautiful for that. The triangles will also be woven through, so we've got circles, triangles, lines. We actually had a lot going on with this theme, even though it was just a simple theme, but it just gave us so much. Right here, I want to show you the cover, or not the cover, I'm sorry, the opening picture. That's a picture of our mountains. And so you can see how that just goes along with the theme. And then we've got some triangles there. That's how we use our triangles. That's our opening. And then our beautiful divider pages there with the triangle. Again, 2021, we did one word, unexpected. Right. And so again, the word is backwards. It's sort of the scrunch effect, like we just never really know what's going to happen this year, right? Of course, we turned it sideways. That's also an play on the unexpected, sideways. And then we've got these vertical stripes. It's just a choice with the design on the layout or the cover material. But that's also, again, an unexpected piece there. So we were able to pull the words through out the book with the unexpected. And what we did with that was we did positive words that start with un for a fun twist on that. And so, for example, on our sports pictures, we had undefeatable, unmatched, unstoppable. And we pulled that through there. And so you can see how that, there's the unstoppable. Okay, and so we just worked that out. Down at the bottom, we did a really fun, we are united, and we put pictures of students and how they were connected. Sammy likes to play football. Andre likes to watch football, and he works at the grocery store. Camelia also works at the grocery store and plays basketball. And so it just goes on like that all the way throughout the book, and it brings in that united with that unexpected twist. And so again, just really brings the book together and tells the story as a whole, because if it was one thing last year, it was definitely unexpected. At every moment we were being hit with something, and so we kind of knew that that was going to be there, that was going to be a part of our year, and we worked it into a positive twist. So I have a ton of material on my blog, Julie Faulkner's blog, yearbook.com for teaching yearbook. I have an entire yearbook curriculum as well as theme teaching packs in my Teachers Pay Teacher store. I'm happy to give you the links for any of those. And I also have a yearbook advisors Facebook group that's totally free with tons of free material, tons of conversation, people jumping in with questions and answers and experiences that I love. And my Facebook is Julie's Classroom Stories. And you can click over there and then click to join in that group and get going. If you have any questions, of course, just send me a message. Right here on Instagram is great. JulieFaulknersblog@gmail.com is my email. I'm happy to chat about yearbook anytime. Thanks.